Broadcasting from Boston, Massachusetts, the Smart Cities podcast is the only podcast dedicated to all things smart cities. The podcast is the creation of ARC Advisory Group's Smart City practice. ARC advises leading companies, municipalities, and governments on technology trends and market dynamics that affect their business and quality of life in their cities. To engage further, please like and share our podcast or reach out directly on Twitter at Smart City Viewpoints or on our website at www.arcweb.com/industries/smart-cities.
Welcome to the Smart City Podcast. I'm Jim Frazer, Vice President of Smart Cities here at ARC Advisory Group. In this episode of our Smart Cities Viewpoints podcast, I'd like to review our upcoming two-day Smart City Virtual Forum to be held on February 16th and 17th. As I review a number of our sessions, I'd like to remind everyone that registration for the forum is $495. It's available for free for end users of these technologies. We also include a free membership in our end-user-only Smart Cities Digital Transformation Council community, which meets regularly through the year. It's a discussion group of Smart City best practices hosted by and for Smart City end users. So starting on February 16th, we'll have 2 full days of presentations by end users, followed by discussions with stakeholders across the Smart City ecosystem. In these sessions, you'll learn winning strategies, as well as you'll be sharing successes and roadblocks encountered during each of our panelists' and presenters' digital transformation processes. So starting off on Tuesday, February 16th, our first session is Smart City Technology from COVID-19 Response to Long-Term Resilience. COVID-19, as we know, is accelerating digital transformation for cities and infrastructure. Many end users in smart cities and communities see this next wave of technology as a key enabler for a better response to COVID-19 and a path to long-term resilience. In this session, we'll be discussing the role that digital transformation plays in addressing issues like remote workforce challenges, data management, cybersecurity, project implementation, and various other smart city application areas in the 9 verticals of a smart city. Next up, on February 16th, is Smart City cybersecurity strategies in the age of COVID-19. So as we know, there's a changing threat landscape, and this, when combined with recent advances in digitization and IoT, Internet of Things, are spurring significant demand increases in cybersecurity solutions for smart cities and building automation systems. At the same time, many end users and owner-operators are struggling with securing an installed base of systems that may be several generations behind today's level of technology. This mix of old and new systems can create additional cybersecurity challenges. So in this session, we'll be discussing these issues and more, including standards, the vendor landscape, solutions that are out there in the marketplace, as well as human capital issues. Next up, on February 16th, we will have a session on drones for both inspection and delivery. And as we know, drones have many useful jobs in construction, in commercial, agricultural, surveying, and even in the industrial space. The very current advances in autonomy, crash safety, cameras, and traffic management are also progressing, and we'll touch upon those. As we know, package delivery is occurring at international locations. It's really started there as the United States FAA is slowly and carefully issuing permits for package delivery beyond virtual line-of-sight applications. So in this session, we'll be reviewing leading inspection and drone delivery technologies, and we'll be looking at how new applications for both inspection and delivery are evolving in the U.S. abroad. And some of our speakers for this session are Jackson Rollins, who's a manager of Duke Energy's drone program. We have Miriam McNabb, the editor of Drone Life, and Steve Luxian at Assure UAS. He's the Deputy Director and is responsible for day-to-day administrative, financial, and technical operation of this FAA Center of Excellence, dedicated to unmanned aerial systems. Continuing on Tuesday, February 16th, our next session is the future electric grid. Electric grids worldwide are evolving on both the generation side and at the customer demand side of the electric grid, which means transmission and distribution systems in the middle have many new problems to solve. The demand for a secure, reliable electricity supply has only grown, and for the majority of the world, all facets of everyday life require electric power. An increasingly carbon-free electric grid is the key to low-carbon transportation, residential housing, commercial businesses, and industrial facilities. This forum session will bring you close to the action for new grid technology, new wholesale markets, and grid services, as well as changing regulations and the economic forces that are forcing the largest systems integration machine project of our time to evolve. We're very happy to have Charles Newton as one of our speakers. He has been involved in research activities for decades, centered on the electric power industry, looking at trends and usage patterns for automation, infrastructure, and the convergence of IT and OT. We also have Eric Efren, Managing Director of Windtest, and our moderator is our own Rick Risch. On Wednesday, February 17th, we begin the day with Smart City Platforms, Justification, Architectures, and Use Cases. Smart City Platforms take data from multiple siloed applications in a city. What happens in one city, system, or function often has an impact across multiple functional silos. End users, however, are still largely in the dark when it comes to practical use cases for Smart City Platforms. Technology is only as good as the value it provides, be it social, business, or environmental. Presented in this session are some truly compelling use cases for Smart City Platforms and their associated value to the end user. And this session is moderated by Larry O'Brien. Then we have a session on smart lighting and IoT that yours truly will be moderating. And attendees to this session will learn about the dramatic impacts of LED technology on energy use, maintenance costs, and CO2 reduction. In particular, we'll examine real-world projects where LED lighting systems have been combined with IoT, Internet of Things communications technologies. We'll discuss LED adoption challenges for cities and for private operators, as well as for utilities. And we'll explore some of the innovative finance and public-private finance programs that have come to fruition as the multiprocessor-driven LED lighting projects have evolved. We're very happy to be joined in this session by our first speaker, Kevin Fitzmaurice, who's the Principal of Lighting and Smart Services at Georgia Power and a lead project engineer at Southern Company. We'll also be joined by Toby Morgan, who's the LED program manager at the Climate Group. He has 13 years experience in energy efficiency and climate change sectors, working across public sector and other NGOs. And we continue on February 17th, with Smart City Transportation, the impacts of electric vehicles. Electric vehicles, as many of us know, have reached total cost of ownership parity for commercial use cases and are beginning to make strong sense for private drivers as well. This session features speakers and panelists showcasing how vehicle electrification is becoming reality and how charging can be done in harmony with the broader energy system. Public agencies, utilities, OEMs, charging entities, and integrators, as well as anyone interested in the electric future, are invited to attend this truly compelling session. And then the last session that I'll highlight in our podcast today is Smart City Transportation. Connected vehicles, autonomous vehicles, mobility as a service, and much more. So as we know, transportation is one of the fastest evolving sectors of our economy. A mobility as a service, or MaaS platform, is a new concept describing transport alternatives to personally owned automobiles. A mobility as a service subscriber pays for access to transportation rather than their own vehicle, so maintenance, taxes, insurance, and parking are offloaded to that subscription service. Connected and autonomous vehicles use sensing and computing power to enhance or replace human driving, creating new possibilities in safety enhancement and convenience. This session features case studies highlighting the business opportunities of shared mobility, sometimes powered by autonomous vehicle technology, as well as connected vehicle technology. Attendees will learn how the next generation of travelers can transform their habits, reduce single occupancy vehicles, reduce transportation expenses, travel in a far safer manner, and increase the profitability of customer-focused mobility services. So that's but a brief overview of 8 of our sessions for our Smart City Forum on February 16th and 17th. Once again, if you are an end user, you qualify for a free registration for both our Smart City Forum as well as for our Smart City Digital Transformation Council. So I look forward to seeing many of you at our Smart City Forum on February 16th and 17th. And thank you very much for attending our podcast today. Have a good afternoon.
Broadcasting from Boston, Massachusetts, the Smart Cities podcast is the only podcast dedicated to all things smart cities. The podcast is the creation of ARC Advisory Group's Smart City practice. ARC advises leading companies, municipalities, and governments on technology trends and market dynamics that affect their business and quality of life in their cities. To engage further, please like and share our podcast or reach out directly on Twitter at Smart City Viewpoints or on our website at www.arcweb.com/industries/smart-cities.